Probably really close to the camera, so give me just a second. There's my forehead. Okay. I'm going to be rolling close for a minute and then I will back up. Hey there, welcome to Live with Heidi Mine. I'm going to check that the live is up on Facebook and YouTube, so if you have not already, go grab your favorite drink and then we will get started. I'm going to just check. Oops, I scrolled my live script. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about Etsy, about my Etsy experience this Halloween. So yeah. Is that last week? Am I wearing the same thing I wore last week? I think I am. There we are. Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. So I am live on Facebook and I am live on the YouTube. Yay! So for just a minute, I am going to turn off those chats. Well, you'll still be able to chat. I am going to look at my script for a minute and then I will put the chats back on when I'm talking about what I'm going to talk about. So here we go. What is up, homies? I'm Heidi. I'm a work-at-home handmade business owner at HeidiMine.com, as well as a homeschool mom of 11 and 13-year-old girls. I go live on Facebook and YouTube on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. During the live, I share about things going on with my business, homeschooling, and sometimes our personal lives. Be sure to follow on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post videos or when I go live. And feel free to like or hit the thumbs up button, as this helps more people just like you see the videos and come hang out. If you are joining me live tonight, please go ahead and comment with hashtag live, or if you are watching the replay, hashtag replay. This lets me know when people are watching and if I need to change up my times or my days. If you are watching on Facebook, you will notice that there is a pinned post where you can sign up for the email list. That gets you a 20% discount on your first order at HeidiMine.com. And it also gets you weekly emails. Usually I send about 2 a week. Lately I have not been sending emails. It's been a crazy few months, but I am planning on getting back on schedule with that. So generally it's about 2 emails a week. I try not to send out a whole lot of spammy stuff, but sometimes if I do a sale, I will send out a few more emails just so you don't miss out on whatever the deal is. So yeah, but like blog posts, sales, next year I am hoping to be able to do some giveaways, and those will primarily be done on social media, but if you are not on the email list, you might miss them. So make sure you check those out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch back over so that I can see the chat. Hello, Sarah Jane. So real quick, I just have a couple of things before I get started. I wrote down some numbers for Etsy. I wanted to go over a few things with that. My selling experience this year compared to the last few years that I was selling. But we had a very quiet Halloween. We had a school festival last week on Friday. That was a lot of fun. We hung out with Sarah and her girls. And if you have not checked out Sarah's channel, she is another homeschool mom. She's homeschool mom goals. And you can check her out over at Home with Sarah Jane. And yeah, and then we had a local event. So we continued the party and we hung out for a few more hours to do some trick-or-treating. I did not finish my kids' costumes because that is just how this year is going. And yeah, so my oldest didn't want to trick-or-treat last night. She passed out candy. Facebook is freezing up on me, but I think it was just my iPad. Yeah, she passed out candy. My youngest, I think she wanted to go trick-or-treating, but she didn't want to go without her sister. And that's like a whole thing. So it ended up we were passing out candy, and then the neighbors were going to go like do a run. And I was going to send her with the neighbors. She didn't want to do that. So at the last minute, she and I did do like a little walk of the neighborhood, but it was later. So a lot of the houses were already dark. Not a lot of houses decorated this year. I thought that was a little different. And maybe it was just because like our neighborhood doesn't get a lot of kids, I guess, trick-or-treating. So maybe they just were closing up shop early. But like I was telling the neighbors, maybe next year I just need to take out like a Facebook ad to get people to come to our neighborhood. We do have a lot of like younger families that are moving in, so that's nice. But we're kind of an older neighborhood, and they give out really good candy. So I'm like, come hang out, do the things. But I told the girls we would decorate the house next year and that kind of stuff. Today, my mom came into town and we decided to go over to the shopping center where they house Hot Topic and Box Lunch. Girl, you know what I did. And I bought some stockings and I did not bring them into the garage with me. So maybe I'll post those to social media. But basically they had like Hello Kitty and Friends stockings at Box Lunch. And Sarah's laughing at me. So my oldest got Cinema Roll and I got My Melody, and the youngest, she got Karomi. And they did have Hello Kitty, but we didn't see that until the end. And we debated getting it for my mom, but then we'd have to figure out something for my father-in-law. So it was like a whole thing, and we just got 3. But I clearly put this too far away. I got a purse. I was not going to buy a purse this year. Did I put my... I didn't put my wallet. Sarah saw my wallet the other day. But I did get a Beetlejuice wallet that I love. I think I needed to send pictures to my mom. But I love it. It looks like the manual for the recently departed. It's adorable. I love it. It's so cute. But Box Lunch had this today. And I just couldn't. It's not a backpack. So that's how I justified purchasing it. It is Loungefly. It is Star Wars. And it is gingerbread. And I don't think life gets any better than those 3 things. So this is my, can I see it? There it is. Holiday purse. And I am just loving this. It is, who have we got? Yoda over here. And we've got Chewbacca. And we've got Darth Vader. And they're super, super cute. And then we have, what side is what? We've got C-3PO with a little Ewok and Luke and Leia, and then R2-D2. And I am the biggest Star Wars nerd that I know. I'm not going to say that there is, but that I know. And then on the inside, there is actually like a weapon of mass destruction, a shoulder strap with a chain. Of all things, I don't know if I'll use that. I might. But the lining, I put my sunglasses in here. The lining is Christmassy Jawas. I don't know if you should be able to see that. But yeah, seriously. And they're like singing. It's so cute. I mean, you can't hear them singing, obviously, because they're not real. But yeah, so I wasn't going to do it. I have at least one Loungefly. I think it's a Loungefly. That's a Christmas mini backpack that I have never even used. I have other Loungeflies that I've never used. I have the Small World. It's white with gold. That's a Loungefly. I have never used that purse because I don't want to get it dirty because it's white. There's like cream. But yeah, I've got one that I think we bought it in 2019 before the park started closing because of the vid. And like it had like the ears that went with it. Super cute. But I didn't end up wearing them because we have not been to Disneyland since November of 2019, sadly. A couple other things that I picked up just recently because I had some things on my list. We're really bad at chores. Not that we're bad at chores, like we do the things, but we're constantly forgetting. And so then I always feel like we're behind. And I saw this somewhere on social media. I wish I could tell you where, but the person was saying, I believe they said they had like ADHD, but they could have just said that they were forgetful. I apologize. I don't remember, which is probably why I need this. But we ordered these, or I ordered these on Amazon. I got one for each of us, and I'm going to hang them up. I'm not sure where I'm going to hang them up yet in my house, if they're going to go in each of our rooms or if they're going to go in one central location. But basically, it's a little key tag, and we're going to write our chores on the tag, and then you wear the little tag until the chore is done. And then when the chore is done, you hang it up. But the idea is that we will remember to do the chore that day. And that's why I'm thinking we're going to hang them in our rooms, because then like we get up, we get dressed, we put on our bracelets, we get the things done. The idea is that I don't want to have to tell my kids 20 times to unload the dishwasher or, you know, scoop the litter boxes or take out the trash or whatever. We're just going to put it on there. They're going to know what days they need to do it, or at least what days they need to check. And then we can go from there. Oh, I bought a couple of things. I knew I was forgetting something. So I also got, I'm really, really bad with my budget. And that is something I want to work on in 2024, getting back on track with things. So after my husband passed away, my little brother came out, and he's really, really good at like finances and stuff. And he bought me this little like record book to keep all my numbers in check. And I used it for quite a few months, and then I just kind of stopped using it because I'm not responsible that way. So I picked one out for, technically I could start using it now because it's not dated, but I kind of want to use it in like January to December. So I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but I got this because it's pink and I love pink. And I did start filling some of it out, so I won't show you all of it. It's got like little directions for those of us that are challenged. The front page is just where we can fill out our information. It has a section for financial goals for the year. Maybe not. I guess it's just 10 financial goals, not 12, 10. There's little places to write things. My strategy, my tactics. I don't even know what I'm going to put there. Like, don't spend money, Heidi. And then I'm going to skip to, I started filling out January, like the month, but I use friction pens. So if I did decide to use this for November instead of for January, like if I wanted to start it now, I could just erase the dates and fill it back in. But it, every month has this little, at the end, it has this little pocket page. So you can put your bills and receipts. I don't know if I put my bills in there because I do everything online. But then it's got these cute little divider pages. This is the monthly page where you can put your stuff. There's like a little blank section for notes, monthly goals, to-do lists, upcoming purchases and bills, and then income and savings. And then you've got your monthly budget with the little sections. And for me, things like food, I don't necessarily divide food up. I guess I could divide it up between Costco, Sam's Club, whatever, but I just give myself a budget. Healthcare, like I don't know what all those things are. I suck at being an adult, seriously. Personal, I don't know. I just am like, we get the things, we need the things. So I kind of rework some of that so that it's like, I've got a section for my credit card and loans, and then I've got a section that's business expenses, and then home expenses, and then like food and gas go together, and then like other, I guess, I don't know. But there's an expense tracker. I think that like the listing on Amazon said there was 2 pages, but there's actually, it's 2 pages front and back. So I like that. And then there's like an end of the month review. So I thought that was super cute. There is more at the back. But I started filling some of that in, so I'm not necessarily going to show you. There's like some savings tracker pages. I don't think that there's 12 boxes, but I guess it's like you put what you're saving for and the amount needed and the due date, and then you put that in there. That's cool. There's also some debt tracking pages that I'm not going to show you. They look just like the others because I put my credit cards on there already. Because I really want to just I want to get out from under my credit cards next year. It's probably not realistic for just next year, but goals, man, goals. Okay, and then there is like a section for a holiday budget. So you could do like your budget, your gifts, your spending, and then it's got a regular, it says regular bill tracker. And it says like you put the month there, you put the bill in this left section and then the months across. And I don't know. I feel like that's redundant from like the rest of the book, but I guess you could see how your bills change. Most of my bills don't change, although my internet, I don't have cable. My internet bill went up like $20. And I feel like something else went up. I don't know. But yeah, so I guess you could track that. And then like there's a year summary at the end. So you can see how well you did. And then there's just dotted pages at the very end. Excuse me. The only thing I'm not loving, I picked the spiral because I like to be able to lay things flat, especially when I write. But the spiral is giving me trouble. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't always want to open and close all the way. And then it did come with these really, really pretty stickers. So yeah, so that was cute. I liked it. Hopefully I'll do better in 2024 than I did in the last year and a half. And the last thing that I purchased, and this is for my business, is this wall calendar. I started writing on it already. I really struggled this year. I had a lot of ideas of things I wanted to do for my business. I've paid for different training courses for my business. And man, handmade businesses are hard. Essentially, most coaches out there, they really want you to be like, this is my plan. I'm going to plan product launches, and the launch is going to be at this time, and it's going to be this like product line, and then they want you to discontinue the product. And essentially I get it. Like that's what all major companies do, right? Like you have clothing, fall line, spring line, winter line, whatever. Bath and Body Works, when you go there, like they obviously have different scents for different times of year. My Christmas bag, like these companies do plan these out, and I totally get it. I've always struggled with it because essentially for the business that I run, my own business, I don't necessarily, I've never had things, I've never offered things for sale that I couldn't remake. I mean, unless a fabric was discontinued, my whole like game plan was that I could remake anything at any time. And that has, like, I have noticed that I think I sell, I can't remember. I mean, I know I sell the quarter holder keychains in my Etsy shop and on my website, for people that like use Aldi. or Aldi. I don't know which way it's pronounced. And I have ones that look like they're like rectangle shape and heart shape, and they're kind of basic. And I offered them in a matte vinyl and I believe in a glitter vinyl. I think I offered them in glitter vinyl. And the glitter vinyl has been very difficult to get the last couple years. So technically I could discontinue that vinyl, but I can still offer that item because I can make it until my machines break and then I just buy a new machine. So I really struggled with that, with the whole like idea of creating a product line and discontinuing it. But also, I have to create the samples in order to actually have a product line. And so sometimes when I was looking at these courses, because there's tons of courses out there, people that will teach you SEO for Google, for Etsy, for Shopify. They will teach you whatever. Like, if you need to learn something, there is a coach that will say that they can teach you what you need to do. I've purchased 2 different relatively expensive courses over the last 3 years from different coaches that were specifically about product, like handmade products. And they both teach very similarly with, the product launch, the product discontinuation, whatever. But their end goal is always that you transition from it being 100% handmade into it. Eventually, it's a product that is manufactured. I don't want to do manufactured. That takes away the whole premise of me hand making things. And mine aren't things that I can have manufactured because I shop from other small businesses. I purchase embroidery designs from other small, mostly women-owned businesses, and then I make the things, and I can only make them in small batches, and then I can sell them. And so it's hard because I also never want to deal with manufacturing. I'm not even going to lie about that. I never want to deal with manufacturing. I've dealt with different types of product ordering. When I worked for Roundtable, I was in charge of like inventory and reordering, and that's just food. Like, that's basic. But even when I worked in a bridal shop, there were times that I was responsible for placing orders, not necessarily for stock, but for customers that were doing special orders. And that is so stressful because if you get one thing wrong, it's just everything. It's terrible. So I like being able to control the product. I like being able to control the quality. So I just don't see myself ever moving into a manufacturing situation. So then like the product launches and discontinuations doesn't necessarily fit. I do have some ideas for 2024 that will be product launches, and there will be some items that will be phased out. They will be limited quantities. And I also am looking at purchasing fabrics that will be in limited quantities. And then at that point, those will also be phased out, like for holidays and that sort of thing. Just because I do think that is something reasonable that I can do. So yeah, but there's always things that are evergreen to any company. And primarily my company will always have evergreen items. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure about Halloween next year. We'll see. I will not be doing Halloween on Etsy next year. I'm just going to be flat out. If a year from now I'm putting items on Etsy for Halloween, I will be shocked and I will probably kick myself because yeah. So I started selling on Etsy. I opened my shop in 2010 when my oldest daughter was born. I want to say it was like November. I think I'm coming up on my 13-year anniversary, shop-anniversary, whatever you want to call it. I always forget because it was like a totally random time when I opened it. I opened it as a fluke. I was making like diaper bags and baby blankets at the time. And I had people telling me, you should sell these and Etsy's a great platform. It was very new at the time. And that was fine. And I just threw the things up on Etsy, had no idea what I was doing. I had little to no social media at that point. I probably had none for my business and very little for me personally because I'm Gen X and we can function, but sometimes we need our handheld. So I think I got a sale within like 3 months of opening my shop. Somebody bought a baby blanket. They left me a fantastic review. It was this great experience, but then it was nothing at all. I wasn't listing anything new. I wasn't getting any new sales. I did not understand what was going on. And I didn't really have time to do anything because I had a newborn and I was actually working like 2 different jobs at the time. So I just kind of let it go for a minute. And then I had my second daughter, and as the girls got a little older, I started doing different things with my embroidery machines. I know I have other videos that talk more about that, but essentially I started making in the hoop embroidered items for children. So like non-paper dolls, educational toys, and felt masks. And of course, I didn't put any of the felt masks near me tonight, so you'll have to go check out a previous video to see some of those. I feel like I really started doing felt masks, like really doing sales in 2014, but it could have been 2015. Etsy, for some reason, has updated. They've changed their system, so you can only look back so many years. I could only look back as far as 2019, and I didn't really want to go into all my bookkeeping to try to figure the numbers. So I can only talk about 2019 to 2023, with the exception of 2022, because my Etsy shop was closed for most of the year. And I'm not even going to talk about the whole year. All I'm going to talk about is September and October of any of those years, because those are when I predominantly was selling masks. Those were my busiest months for Halloween. And they were my busiest months for the year, pretty much any year that I ever sold. I think September, October were always my biggest months. And there were plenty of months that I just didn't sell anything. So that's a whole nother thing. So in 2019, and these I have to give you gross sales, and I believe these do not count cancellations or refunds. So these are slightly inflated, and I'm totally being transparent. I did not want to go into my bookkeeping. Every year my bookkeeping is kept separately in a completely different folder on my Google Drive. So it would have taken me quite a while to pick through everything. So this is, essentially any person that purchased from me, whether I refunded them or not, that is what I'm telling you. So in September of 2019, I had 172 orders, and I made, and the sales were $5,171.24. It was an average order of $30.06. And this is, I did not think that it was that much back then. Because in the olden days, in the first few years that I was selling masks, it was only masks. In 2019, I believe I added in the costume tails and the gloves. For a while, I was selling fleece gloves. They caused me so much stress. I did not offer those this year. I only offered the tails and the owl wings. Other years, I did offer Pegasus wings. I didn't do those this year. So $30 average ticket is good. Like, that's, For what I sell, that's a decent average order. I did pay $537.36 in fees. That is Etsy fees as well as shipping costs through the Etsy platform. In October of that year, 2019, I had 176 orders. Now, mind you, in October, I don't take orders the whole month. Generally, I will take orders from the 1st. Back then, I used to take them to about the 20th. So you're looking at about 20 days that I took 176 orders. And when it says orders, I don't think that means per piece, but it might be. That sounds like it could have been per piece. So if somebody placed an order for 3 masks, that 176 should include all 3 of those. I paid $1,890.22 in fees with an average order of $27.72. So still fairly close to $30. I'm pretty happy with that. What I did to find the percentage of fees that I paid is I actually added September and October together, because sometimes what I do is, I don't have a choice. If I get an order in late September and it doesn't ship until October, then I don't pay for the shipping until October. So a lot of times my September fees seemed really, really small and my October fees seem huge. And that's because some of the September orders were shipping in October, and that's when I was paying the shipping costs. But all of my October orders had to ship at least a week before Halloween, so I know that those fees are accurate. So the percentage of fees that I was paying, and again, this is Etsy fees plus shipping fees, for 2019 in September and October was 24%. That's not bad, in my opinion. That does not count any kind of like labor. It doesn't count materials. It doesn't count operation costs, because obviously I have to pay to keep the lights on and the machines rolling. So it doesn't pay for anything else. That's just Etsy fees, is 24%. I'm not upset about that. It's fine. It is what it is. I would say if you're making a 50% profit, that you're doing good. And usually I think I can confidently say I make about a 50% profit, between 40 and 50% generally on average. I'm going to go through them a little faster because now that I've explained. So in 2020, now at that time we were in the middle of a world crisis that I shouldn't have to explain. My county that I live in was in a complete and total lockdown. They were telling us not to go trick-or-treating. It was a whole thing. Yeah. And at that time, I was no longer selling face masks. For a short time, I did do that for my business. I needed to pay bills. I needed to feed my family. I was making those masks. I had a lot of disclaimers because I did a lot of research to make sure that I was doing them as well as possible, but I don't want to get too much into that. So for September and October in 2020, these are costumes only, nothing else. So let's see, in September, I had 179 orders, $4,702.81 in sales, $864.19 in fees, and the average ticket price was $26.27. So it went down quite a bit, my average order in a year. Not only the sales, even though I sold more items in 2020 than I did in 2019. Not sure how that works. In October, my sales were $6,277.17. I had 224 orders that year in October, just in October. It's a lot. It's a little over 10 orders a day, essentially. And a mask takes about 30 minutes from start. A basic mask can take me about 30 minutes from start to finish. So I was not sleeping. I paid $1,679.61 in fees, and my average order price, or my average order ticket, was $28.02. So it came back up a little. My average fee percent, or I'm sorry, my percentage of fees was 23% for those 2 months. In 2021, September, I had 211 orders. I made $5,361.91. $799.27 went to fees, with an average ticket of $25.41. So it went down almost a whole dollar. In October, I only had 84 orders, and my sales were $2,090.29, with $1,057.21 in fees, and the average ticket $24.88. So at that point, that was the lowest average ever for those years. I don't remember if that was the year one of my machines broke. I think one of my machines blew up that year, but I still had a replacement by October. So I don't know. I think I was just very overwhelmed. Things were not going well. Yeah. Because for me to only take 84 orders, that was really slow for me at that time. The percentage of fees was 24.9%, so almost 25%. So my average ticket price went down $5 in 2 years, and my fees went up a whole percent in 2 years. And that's a lot when you're making the money yourself. That's a lot. Again, I did not do any business in 2022. I think I did at the beginning of the year, but it wasn't much. But I skipped Halloween last year and this year. So 2023, September, I had 58 orders, and my sales were $1,199.65. My fees were $334.92, and my average order was $20.60. So here we are, what is that, 4 years later, and my ticket has gone down $10. My average ticket. In October, I had 92 orders, $2,073.15, $789.33 in fees, with an average ticket price of $22.53. And my fee percentage for those 2 months was 34.35%. So I would love to tell you that it's the economy. It is the economy. Let's be honest. The economy is not great. But I do know that there were other shops that were selling 30 to 50 masks a day. They were selling licensed masks that they could potentially be sued for. I didn't want to get in that trouble this year. But my average order went down basically $8 to $10, and my fees went up 10%, essentially. Yeah, 10%, not essentially. It's 10%, 10.35% to be exact. Some of that has to do with the fact that I can't remember if it was 2021 or it must have been 2021. Could have been late 2020 for all I know. Etsy instituted a new ad program basically Etsy gives you the option that you can pay to promote your ads. So if you're ever scrolling Etsy and you look something up and you're looking at all the different listings, there will usually be some listings like maybe the first row or that'll say ad or sponsored by an Etsy seller. But basically we can, as an Etsy shop owner, we can tell Etsy, I want to promote $2 a day on my shop within the Etsy website. And you can even go so far as to like pick like how much per listing, what listings you want, what listings you don't want to advertise. And that's fine. It's great. I used that in the past. I had a decent return on investment. It wasn't great. It was never great for me. When I really started working my Etsy shop, I had pretty good SEO. So I didn't necessarily need to pay for that advertising. But I felt that Etsy was trying very hard to bring in shoppers to their website. So if I paid $1 a day for advertising, cool, we're square. They did like this whole thing where you could upgrade your shop. So they give you little perks behind the scenes, and like they would give you $1. I think it was like $1 in free listings per month, and then like a certain amount of these like on-site ads or within the Etsy app ads. They give you like a discount on those, and so it balanced out for me. It was fine until it wasn't, and then I stopped using it. But I feel like it was late 2020, Etsy decided that there were not enough shops using their advertising programs. So they instituted Etsy offsite ads. And if your shop makes over $10,000 a year, you automatically are forced to participate. If you have made under $10,000 in not one calendar year, in one consecutive 12-month period, then you can elect to be part of the offsite ads for 15%, for a 15% fee. If someone clicks on your listing and they purchase from your shop, you get charged 15% of whatever the sale is, plus all the other fees that they charge. If you are forced into the offsite ad program, then your fee is 12% because now you don't have a choice. And 12% is not a lot when you really think about like an ad. It's not. I mean, unless you're selling something really, really expensive. For me, it's never that much. And I should have looked up what my offsite ads were for September and October. I want to say that for those 2 months, my offsite ads were somewhere between like $35 and $50. And I made over $500 on offsite ads, or between $450 and $500. Whatever the 12% would work out to be, that's what I made. My problem with it is that Etsy always seems to get the best sales on my most popular listings. So sometimes I get a little frustrated because they don't have a way for us to actually track where that sale came from, other than they tell us it was an offsite ad. We don't know if it came from Google, if it came from Pinterest, if it came from Joe Schmo's website. Like, you have no idea where it originated from, just that it came from an ad that Etsy paid for off of the Etsy platform. It drew in that customer, they purchased from you. Yay. And if they gave us the option, like to say, we'll promote certain listings, I'd be fine with it. Like, I don't mind being forced into it if I have a little bit of control, because I would just always want to promote the listings that never do well, and then maybe they'll do better. Like, we all win. But it just seems like every time I get a listing that's doing really well, even to the point of getting a bestseller badge on a listing, suddenly Etsy has glommed onto it, and that is the only listing that I will get ads, offsite ad feeds for. So that's not fun. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag. I'm not going to shut down my Etsy shop. I do not think that Etsy is a horrible website like so many people think. I think that there's a lot of work. There's a lot of room for improvement. But that could be said for any website, honestly. There's always room for improvement. There was something I just tried to purchase the other day and I was like, man, I wish I could redo their website. So yeah, it is a little frustrating. It's a little frustrating because when Etsy releases their numbers, they release their numbers quarterly. Of course, they want to show their investors how well they're doing. You always want to show your investors how well you're doing. Blah, 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 business. But for me, as the small business, as someone who is not mass marketing, I'm not looking at manufacturing, I'm not doing a print on demand service where I come up with artwork and send it to someone else to do the physical work. I do it all in-house, plus all the other back-end stuff that businesses need. And then to see that my fees have gone up 10% while my income has gone down. I don't know. It's a little disheartening. I know that a lot of businesses have not done well in the last few years. And a lot of it has had to do with, 2020 did a lot of things. It did a lot of things to a lot of different industries. And some of us were always watching the economy during that time. And not to say that I wanted to put the economy above the health of humans, but a healthy economy is also healthy for humans. Like, the two kind of go a little bit in hand. If you have an unhealthy economy, you're never going to have healthy humans because stress. Not all of us want to be on that government cheese. That's a tangent. So I don't know. It's one of those things that I definitely was watching things that were happening during the last 3 years. I was watching things happening with knowing that if you couldn't get things by boat, it was also going to get harder to get things across the country. So it has trickled down a lot. It's trickled down with not getting as many things into our country from other countries that are of lesser price because, let's be honest, they're lesser quality. But it's also increased the prices of the things that we get locally. Groceries, gas, all of those things. And trying to tell customers, hey, I have to raise my prices because, gotta feed my kids, gotta keep the lights on. Maybe I'd like to heat the house every now and then. It's hard because they're trying to do the same thing. Everybody's trying to keep the lights on, keep their kids fed. But the fact that the fees have clearly gone up, to me, that says something about Etsy as a company, that their concern is obviously themselves and their employees, and that's fine. I know that Etsy does not, I shouldn't say I know. I have been told Etsy does not have as many employees now as they did in previous years. I do know that it is difficult to get a hold of Etsy as a seller. They are trying to make improvements, especially for the holiday season, because things get very, very scary for small business owners during the holiday over the next couple months and just really push into 2024. I know that that's not good for my business. So I will still be coming out with a few things this year. They will be listed both on Etsy as well as on my website. But I will be doing as much as I can to make sure that customers know when things will ship. Realistically, if I find out that like the postal service is having issues, USPS is still the cheapest way to ship, like hands down. And it's not cheap. Like I sell relatively light and small items, and it's almost, most of the time it's about half of what the product price is. So it's like, you know, the product price plus another half just for shipping. So anybody that's offering you free shipping, I just remember they've put that shipping fee into every single item that they own or that they're selling, excuse me. So while you're shopping for the holidays, I'm going to leave you with this little idea. If I sell a shirt and it is $15 and I charge $4 to ship it, if I tell you that it's free shipping, but it's a $20 shirt, I've included the shipping in that. If you want to buy 2 shirts, you're now paying $40. But if I would have left the shirts at $15 with $4 shipping, then you would have been paying $30 for the shirt and $4 for shipping. So you'd be paying, what is that, $34 instead of $40 or $38, essentially saving yourself money. So really keep that in mind when you're looking at, we offer free shipping. If they're offering free shipping and it's over a certain price, if they say you spend $35, you spend $40, $50, whatever, and we'll throw in free shipping, by all means, take them up. But if they're telling you that every item ships for free, really look at those prices because, yeah, I don't encourage free shipping. Please don't come at me with the whole Amazon thing. Amazon charges you for shipping. They charge you for it in their yearly fee. When I paid for Prime, I never ordered enough from Amazon to pay the yearly fee. And that was like 10 years ago when it was like $80 a year. So yeah, like I like numbers. Numbers are good. Do your math. And that's about it. So yeah, support those Etsy shoppers. It's getting late now. It's getting close to bedtime. Support the Etsy sellers, support the handmade business owners. If you have to support print on demand, that's fine. But maybe check to see if they're an actual artist. Check to see if it's their art or if they're buying clip art from someone else, because I'm all about paying for print on demand that is created by an actual artist that maybe doesn't want to learn how to do screen printing or embroidery. But a lot, like, okay, case in point, I'm going to be pulling shirts and tote bags from my website by the end of the year. I'm not doing them anymore. This sweatshirt, I pressed this sweatshirt. I love this sweatshirt. I get a lot of compliments on the sweatshirts that I pressed, especially my coffee ones. I have this one and I have the yellow one. I think there's something wrong with my heat press, but in order for me to have a better heat press, I need more money. And I really don't know that I want to invest a few $1,000s in a heat press on the off chance that it presses better than the one I have. Because I don't seem to get a great response about the t-shirts and the tote bags and the sweatshirts that I sell. And that's okay. These were never meant to be my main product line. These were meant to be filler items. So if somebody wanted like a cute bag and they thought that a shirt was cute, add the shirt, no problem. So I am going to be pulling these. But these are not my designs. These are someone else's designs. I buy the transfer. I buy a piece of clothing that I like this one. This is actually a Valentine's Day transfer. It says coffee is my love language. And I think it's got some, yeah, it's got like hearts and stuff. but I already had a hot pink sweatshirt and I didn't want to put it on a red one. So I bought this orange color and I wear this all year long because that's how I roll. So I was picking the transfers that I liked in most cases, but I wasn't designing them. And I think that is where there's a disconnect, because I can yell at the people all I want. Hey, look at this really cute thing. But I'm definitely more passionate about the things that I'm creating myself. When I talked about the bags that I made a few weeks ago, I loved making those. They were a lot of fun. I loved all the accessories. I loved the whole process. These I like doing. They're fun. They're just not, it's not 100% me. So yeah, support those small businesses. They need your help. But at the end of the day, like, do a little bit of research. We appreciate it. Yeah. And even Amazon handmade, like some of that, there were people that were stealing my listings from Etsy and putting them on Amazon handmade. And it took me months to get those removed. I mean, they had my watermarks, they had my descriptions, they were putting my links into the listings. They were literally copying, pasting all of the information into these Amazon handmade listings for shops that were not mine. And I don't know what they were doing and they were charging more. That was the most ironic thing. They were charging way more for the things. I don't know. I don't know if they were charging people and then ordering them from me. I don't know what it was, but it's bad. And I did finally get them removed. But they did it to a lot of us. One of my friends also had quite a few of her listings stolen that way. So I don't know. Amazon Handmade's getting a little better, but the last time I checked, their fees were crazy high. There's no way I would do Amazon Handmade. Not even close. If you ever do have an idea of something you would like me to talk about on a live, do let me know. You can put it in the comments. You can send me an email. You can message me on social media. I have been doing Etsy, like I said, for about 13 years. I've had my own website that I built myself and I do the majority of the maintenance on. That is 3 years old now. So I have been running that for 3 years. I have been working my social media on Facebook, Instagram, for a good 10 years. TikTok, I'm kind of hit or miss, and please don't get me started on Twitter. I don't understand it. I attempted to work with Threads for a minute, and that just, for me, it's a nightmare. It's like standing in a crowded room and trying to pick up on one conversation of many. My brain doesn't work that way. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up, follow or subscribe, and comment with #live or #replay. All of these interactions not only help push out the videos to more people that would enjoy them, they help me know what content you are enjoying the most. Until next time, I'm going to have to go right up to the screen because I have my setup a little bit more the way I want it, except that the phone that controls the app that controls my camera, in order to see myself, I have to attach it with a clip, but then I have to like get super, super close. So maybe later I'll edit these out, but I will see you next time. No, undo, end stream.